What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is P Valley Season 2, Episode 5. So, we start off, we see Diamond getting it in with, what's her name? Big body, full body, double body. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And he's fantasizing about Mississippi. And she not crazy. Like, she know that his mind is not totally 100% on her. And she know the rumors about Mississippi. Like, she know what it is. She also sees his little throne that he has set up with the ring and everything from old boy that they killed last season. And she's like, what is it? He was like, don't worry about it. It's for protection. You know, if you don't want no hex put on you, then you need to leave it alone. But she tells him, listen, I want all of you. I want all your attention. I don't want you thinking about no other woman when we together. Okay? That's what I wanted to be. So then we go over to, and I thought this was a dream sequence at first. Like, at first, I did not think this was real. We see Lil Murda, we see Teak hanging out with their gang, you know, and all of a sudden, Lil Murda gives a speech about Big Teak being out. It's his birthday, and, you know, just how much of a great guy he is, how special of a guy he is, or whatever. And Lil Murda gives this dude a car. Now, I thought this was fake. Like, I thought this was a whole, like, dream sequence, because I'm like, do Lil Murda even have a car? So you giving this dude a car who don't even have a car? But it was, you know, it looked like it's a Charger or something, souped up. It's got all the colors, look like a little puzzle on the paint. It's nice now, don't get me wrong, it's nice, it's real nice. And of course, Teak is real emotional, you know, he's crying and all of that. You know, I'm sure it has a lot to do with the fact that it came from Lil Murda, but just the fact that somebody really gives a damn about him and really loves him or what have you. So, so then we head down to the Pank, and Haley is getting dressed. She's getting ready to go to this event. You got Uncle Clifford and Big L. You know, they didn't cut the water off on her. You know, they trying to figure out what she got going on. And Uncle Clifford is trying to figure out how he can get rid of her. You know, even to the point where he is like, maybe we could call the police, you know. And Big L was like, you know, well, if she was the one that actually pulled the trigger, if she was the one that actually killed dude and buried him, like, we did all the dirty work and she got off scot-free. You know what I'm saying? We did all the dirty work. And, you know, Uncle Clifford was like, yeah, you know, whatever, but we need to figure out a way to, you know, get her out of here because she's trying to sell the paint, you know. So then we head over to the barbershop. Big T getting all cleaned up and getting all right. And we see them talking about the fact that, you know, the tour got, you know, postponed, put on hold because of Rome dying. And nobody knows why Rome died. They're like, you know, they don't know what happened to him. You know, they just know that he dead and everybody back home. And when they get ready to leave out the barbershop, Teak was like, all right, where you want me to drop you off at? And Lil Murda was like, what you mean? I'm rolling with you. He was like, you got something important to do today? And you see Teak's hesitation. You see how he's kind of like, eh. But then he was like, all right, you can roll with me. So then Lil Murda calls Mississippi to talk to her about the tour and everything. And she tells Lil Murda what happened, that Ron tried to, you know, assault her. And so Lil Murda was like, oh, well, in that case, I'm glad that nigga did. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, you ain't tell me all that. And we see Mississippi at home. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and get Mississippi on out the way, child. Mississippi husband was supposed to be going to go look for a job. Her face is still beat up. He going to invite her to come. She was like, no, I can't. I don't think that'd be a good idea. And so when he heads out, she plans her escape. She done packed the bag. She gonna leave her cell phone because she know he can track her phone. You know, she getting the kids together. She run outside to get in the Prius, honey. And baby, he done pulled the plug. He done unhooked the battery or whatever he done to make sure that she can't drive that car. So he ain't stupid. And he Mississippi trying to get out. And I think he realizes that maybe he went too far with the whole situation with the kids. Because the thing about this, a woman, especially a woman who's in an abuse situation, she'll put up with a lot. But when it comes to her kids or her family, it's funny how people will defend somebody other than themselves. They won't protect themselves the same way, but they'll protect other people. And so I think he realizes that maybe he went too far, so he made sure she couldn't get out of there with the keys or whatever. So then we had Mississippi going to check on Terica Child. She taking groceries by the house, and listen, oh girl looked bad. I mean, she looked bad. And, you know, she's still not working. She's still drinking. And her and Mississippi, I said Mississippi, Mercedes. Her and Mercedes end up getting into it where she's, she said, listen, you told Terica she was a mistake. Like, I get it that you're going through a lot right now, but first of all, drinking ain't the answer. And second of all, you can't be talking to Terica like that. So then she was like, listen, let her stay with me for a while till you get back on your feet. And she was like, I see you, like, you're not slick. You can't take Terica from me. You know, there's a difference between being a parent and being a mother. And you can't take her from me. So no, thank you, but no thank you. So as she's walking out, Coach calls her. And Coach is like, what's up? Like, we need to finish up that Mercedes experience. Like, what's good? Now, mind you, Mercedes is looking kind of weird because I think in Mercedes' mind, she thought that the wife was going to let him know that they hooked up or whatever. Because it looked like she was a little confused. But then she was like, all right, Coach, she's saying all the right stuff or whatever. But then Terica calls. She has to get off the phone real quick. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get this Mercedes situation out the way, too. So, Mercedes goes over to Coach's house, and they getting it in. They having their little threesome or whatever. And then he realizes, wait a minute, hold up. He realizes that his wife and Mercedes are having a little bit too much fun without him. And he getting his feelings, a man and his ego, honey. So, he gets in his feelings, and he's kind of like, hold up, what the F is going on here? And he said, for 20 years we've been married and you ain't seem to be all that concerned about no pussy. Now all of a sudden you in here like, like you an expert or whatever. And she was like, we've been married for 20 years and you didn't know that I like pussy. She said, and I like it a lot. And you ain't the only one that's been out here, having a good time and getting it in. And so he's looking at Mercedes like, are you serious? Like, you was supposed to be my toy. And you letting her play with you? Nah, this ain't what I signed up for. This ain't what I'm paying for. And Mercedes was like, well, you still owe me 4 stacks. Or 40 stacks or whatever he owe her. And he telling her, hell no. And the money was sitting right there on the counter. And his wife even tried to say, listen, you can't renege. You got to pay her. Like, you can't take the money back. So Mercedes ends up leaving out of there with no money. I wish I would. We'd have been fighting or something. The cash sitting right there. Hell nah. I'd have got some of that money. Anyway, so Mercedes is ass out, honey, because the reason why she signed up to do it in the first place, she didn't get, she got some of it, but she didn't even get all of her money, child. So she kind of right back where she started, child. Hopefully her shoulder had enough time to heal. Anyway, moving on. So then we have Big Teak and Murder. They down to the wing joint. And he getting jealous because the waitress is flirting with Big Teak. Murder getting jealous. And Big Teak like, oh, for real? Like, that's what we doing now? And Lil Murder gonna tell Teak this like a date. And Teak gets so excited. He's like, oh my gosh, like, for real? Like, I never thought we would ever do this. I never thought we'd ever really be able to be in public and be, like, on a date, like, together. So then they reminisce on a time when they were in jail where, he put together, like, a date where they in the supply closet, child, with roses and candles and stuff. I said, Lord, this thing get deeper and deeper. They done had a whole full-fledged relationship when they was in jail, child. So then they get to talking about Uncle Clifford. He was like, well, you done got out, you moved on. He was like, as you should have. He said the whole world seemed like it's moved on. So then he asked him about Uncle Clifford, and Lil Murder starts talking about Uncle Clifford, and you could tell how much he cares about Clifford. The way he's talking about him. Well, first of all, he say her. He say she. And I'm sure that made Big Teak feel some kind of way, but I don't think Lil Murder meant no harm by it. But you asked the question, but you could see the hurt in Teak's face as this is going on. So then you see them leaving out of there, and they go to the gas station, child, and they filling up gas. Teak don't even know how to get he don't even know how to get gas. He don't even know how to put the credit card to use a debit card to get gas from a gas station, right? And the song comes on the radio. The verse that he gave, DJ Never Scared, comes on the radio. And of course, they respond the same way anybody responds the first time they hear their song on the radio. They're dancing, they're excited. You know, Big T almost get into a fight because they're trying to rush him to hurry up and get the gas, and he taking pictures with the people. The girls are like, oh, well, since you so famous, take some pictures with me. And it was a whole moment. It was definitely a good moment. They were definitely happy about it. And again, you could see how Big T was just looking at Lil Murda, and how you could just see the admiration in his face and see the love, for him in his face, and everything that, he happy for everything that he got going on for him. But we also saw where Lil Murda talked to Wody, and he's talking to Wody about the tour. And well, that's later on, but I didn't skip ahead and check. Anyway, it's later on, but anyway, y'all be all right. And he's talking to Wody about the tour. And Woody is like, listen, he can't go back on the road with us. Like, he's too unpredictable. And of course, he's defending him. Lil Murda's like, what you mean? That's my man. Like, he was like, don't worry about it. He'll be all right. Like, I'll make sure he good. I'll make sure he's okay. And he was like, I don't know. He said, Rome done OD, da 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 da. He was like, how you know he OD'd? And Woody was like, listen, either you take care of Big T, or I have to take care of Big T, because, I know how to handle problems. And then his phone went dead. And like I said, I got to come back to that. Now, Whisper and Roulette, they done found a way to make some money while the paint is closed again. And they're dancing at like a spades tournament. And the guy that paid her to, give him fellatio, he's like, find out how much, he was like, find out what's up with your girl, talking about Whisper. And he was like, shoot, I'll give her 2 sacks if she let me eat her out. And she was like, well, damn, I wish I had the option of laying on my back rather than getting on my knees. And he was like, girl, whatever. He was like, find out what's up. Find out what's up with her. He was like, I make it worth your while. And you see some of the jealousy setting in, right? And for the rest of the night, you kind of see Roulette, side-eye Whisper a little bit about this whole, like, what's really good, like, this whole situation. Later on, we see the dude that drives the truck with the drugs. Basically, we see them hook up. He was like, I kind of like you. She was like, I like you too. She was like, but I'm a hoe. He said, well, we got something in common. I'm a hoe too. So, I don't know. They about to hook up, child. So, we found out where Haley was going tonight. Haley getting all dressed up. She going to a masquerade ball / fundraiser for Andre for his, campaign for mayor. So he's there giving his little speech, and he's in a room full of, all of the white people in town, white people in town. And Haley is there, and of course he sees Haley, and he gets upset. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? So she sort of puts him on the spot. He's talking about prosperity for all, and she was like, why do you think everybody can have prosperity? And he does a good job of flipping it. He says, listen, because I know, because I'm standing here right here, I was born to, a single mother, drug addicted father, and it was because of, Tydell Ruffin that, I had an opportunity. And, he flips it and everybody, claps it up, whatever. So afterwards, of course, him and Colin roll up on her and like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, you here to cause problems? And she was like, nah, I ain't here to cause no problem. So then we have like the whole, we see Lil Murda and Teak, they still rolling. It's nighttime now. They've been rolling all day. And Teak goes to this house, and Lil Murda, that's when Lil Murda was on the phone with Wody. I jumped ahead. But they were at this house, and he assumes that he in there to, get some weed. Because it's a trap house, and he realizes that Teak went in there without his gun. So he goes in there to go, give Teak his gun, and we see Teak walking through the house, and you can definitely see that it's a trap house. And then he stops in front of this closet, and you see a little boy with blood on him in the closet, and of course, Murda's like, yo, what you doing? Like, how you gonna come in the trap house without your piece? Like, what's good? And he was like, oh, okay. But you saw that moment, and you hear screams, and you hear baby crying. So you could tell that he's having some sort of flashback to a situation that happened. We're not sure what the situation was, but it's definitely a flashback to a situation that happened. Back over to the fundraiser for the mayor, we see the dude from Promised Land, the people that were bidding on the paint. He was there, and he tells Andre, "Hey, it's good to see you again. You kind of owe us a favor for basically, messing up the whole auction situation that we had going on, for the paint." And he was like, "All is not lost. I kind of got you. All is not lost." So, um, Colin, he ended up putting Haley out, but Haley peeped lady that was coming in, the widow that was coming in. Her husband owned Promised Land, and she sort of saddles up to her, and she got her thinking that she actually is a hostess. But she tells, she escorts her into where the guys are smoking and everything, and she lets it be known. She said, "Listen," she gets in good graces with the woman, and she lets it be known that she's the one that owns the paint, and that she outbid Andre. And the woman was like, "Oh, really? Oh, so you're the one? Oh, okay." She said, "So basically, gentlemen, like, y'all wasting my time. Like, I want that piece of property, and she the person I need to talk to, not y'all." And so she lets it be known, "Listen, I want $10 million. Like, if y'all can come to the table with $10 million, boom, I got it." She said, "It's really y'all's fault that y'all didn't get it the first time, because y'all was lowballing. Like, y'all should have came to the table with a real offer." And she was like, "You know what? You're absolutely correct. And I think that maybe we can put in the right offer this time to get you what you want." And, she basically says, "Listen, I'm done with that." And they were like, "Well, what about your endorsement for mayor?" She said, "Okay. I mean, you got my endorsement." She said, "You think I really give a damn who's the mayor of this damn city? I don't care." So, Haley kind of did what she accomplished. She put pressure on them to get the price that she wants for the paint. And she in the room with the right people, much to the chagrin, of Andre and company. So now back down to the house, Uncle Clifford is there with his grandmother. Child, I ain't even gonna stress it out. Grandmama got the Rona, child. Come to find out, old girl that said that she just had her allergies really did have, the Rony Ron, and she done spread it to every damn body. And Uncle Clifford's grandmama is sick. And I hate to see it, y'all. I think we said this at the beginning of the season, that somebody was gonna have to die from the Rona. And unfortunately, it might look like it might be Loretta, which I hate. I mean, I hate it because I love Loretta Devine, but in the grand scheme of the story, if she passes away, it's not going to truly affect anything. You know what I mean? Back over to Andre's house, child. Him and Haley get into it. Child, I ain't even going. They get into it. I mean, I'm saying sexually, they get into it. Okay, they gets it in. Okay, they gets down and dirty. He mad at her at first, but then she was like, "Well, tell me what you want," and he was like, "Take your dress off, crawl on all fours," and they have a whole sex situation, child. Then we see Lil Murder and Big Teak. They out, in the they out. I guess they down in by the lake or whatever. And again, they reminiscing and laughing and having a good time or whatever. They end up in the car, and Big Teak ends up telling Lil Murder his story, which was, oh my gosh. And he talks about how they were talking back to him being, lockdown. He said, "That ain't the first time I've been in lockdown." He said, "The first time I was on lockdown," and he talked about when he was a kid and how his mother killed his siblings, his 3 siblings. And he said how he hid in the closet, and he said, I ain't even supposed to be here. He was like, "I was supposed to die that night. That was how I was supposed to go out." He said, "But basically me hiding in that closet," he said, "that's where I was. That house where we were, that was my house. That's where I grew up. And that's where it happened." And he talked about the 3 eye drops under his eyes. He said, people think that those teardrops, I said eye drops, people think those teardrops are from people that I've killed. He said, "No, those teardrops are for my 3 siblings who died that night." And so he started talking about the devil that's inside of him. And and I ain't gonna drag this out because this thing broke my heart. He put that gun to his head, and Lil Murder tried to talk him out of it. Little Murder tried to tell him, "Listen, you good, I got you, we good, I love you, don't do this." And Teak was like, "Nah, nah, that devil is in me, and I can't control it. and he killed himself. And it was a whole powerful moment. It was very emotional. Um, and you see Lil Murda. He had on this white sweatsuit. You see the blood on him because they don't actually show it. But you know what happened. You know. And he shows up at Uncle Clifford's house, and Clifford lets him in. But now all of them, grandma got the Rona, Uncle Clifford been exposed to the Rona, and now you got Lil Murda coming in there. But I guess some things are more important than the Rona, okay? Anyway, that's what happened. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Talk to y'all later. Peace.